Okay, so the next step in designing our space is that we're going to go from a 1/4 inch. This is a 1/4 inch scale right here. And then we're going to scale this up. So we're going to scale up the entire drawing into a 1/2 inch scale. So to have this many squares onto our bigger paper in a 1/2 inch, that's why we're using the bigger cardstock paper. And so the way that you do that, you're going to need to create a grid, just like we have a grid here with all of the squares. But you're going to have to draw your own. And the way you do that is you use your ruler. Make sure that the 0 is right at the edge of the paper. Notice with these clear rulers, you can see to the edge of the paper. So make sure that that 0 lines up. You don't want to start it here because that means that square is going to be bigger. Also, I'm looking at the side that's the inches. So again, these are the inches on the ruler, not the centimeters. The centimeters are different. So again, I'm looking at the inches. And so I'm going to line up the 0, and I'm going to go 1/2, 1, 1/2, 2, 1/2, 3, 1/2, 4, 1/2, 5, 1/2, 6, 1/2, 7, 1/2, 8, 1/2, 9, 1/2, 10, 1/2, 11, 1/2, 12, and I'm just going to keep going every 1/2 inch. 15, 1/2, 16, 1/2, 17, 1/2, 18. Now, as you can see, I've run out of space here, so I'm just going to move the ruler over, start it again at that 0, 1/2, 1, 1/2, 2, etc., all the way to the end of the paper. And then it's going to end right there on the 6 on this side. All right. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler, I'm going to slide it down here, and again I'm going to do the exact same thing. So again, 1/2, 1, 1/2, 2, 1/2, 3, 1/2, 4, 1/2, 5, 1/2, 6, 1/2, 7, 1/2, 8, 1/2, 9, 1/2, 10. Then once I do that all the way across, I'm going to use my ruler, and then I'm going to just lightly draw the lines, because remember, you're going to be drawing over these lines. This is just so we can scale up. So again, I'm going to match up the edges that I've made. And I'm just going all the way across, creating that 1/2 inch lines every 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to turn my paper, and I'm going to do the same thing. Clear off this table here. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Again, I'm going to make sure it's matched up to the 0 and do the same thing. So 1/2, 1, 1/2, 2, 1/2, 3, 1/2, 4, 1/2, 5, 1/2, 6, 1/2, 7, 1/2, 8, 1/2, 9. Notice that the 1/2 is the biggest line that's in between the 8 and the 9, or the 9 and the 10. It's the biggest line. That's the 1/2 part, 1/2 inch. Because again, we're doing a 1/2 inch scale all the way across. I'm going to do the same thing, just like that. I'm going to move my ruler down and do the same thing down here. It doesn't have to be right on the edge, because you're going to be using a ruler. Again, 1/2, 1, 1/2, 2, 1/2, 3, 1/2, 4, 1/2, 5, 1/2, 6, 1/2, 7. Now you're going to need to use one of the bigger rulers, one of the longer rulers, for it to go all the way across the paper, unless you wanted to do it part way and then continue the other way. I do have some bigger rulers. Hang on. I do have a couple of yardsticks that you can use for these longer sides, but I only have a few, so you will need to go ahead and mark out your paper and then use the yardsticks. It could really be any straight edge at this point, because again, all I'm doing is just matching up the lines and drawing the line all the way across. So what I'm going to end up with, a grid, a 1/2 inch grid over the entire paper once it's done. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to look at your drawing, and if it's, so this corner right here takes up 1, 2, 3 across, and then you need to count over 1, 2, and then you'll start that line. How many is it? 1, 2 up. So you would count 1, 2 up here. So again, you're just going to copy whatever you see here on this grid onto this grid. So you just count over the number of squares, and you're going to make this drawing bigger. So right now it's at a 1/4 inch scale, and you're going to make it bigger, scale it up, what we call scaling it up to a 1/2 inch grid. Remember to keep in mind that eventually we're going to actually be building this into a 3D model. All right, so all of the tables, chairs, sinks, all of those things will also be built up into a small 3D model of your space. And so that is the next step, is to go from a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch scale. Again, this does take some time, so hopefully you can finish this today, at least drawing out the 1/2 inch scale on the paper. All right, have fun.